Yo, what's going on, everyone? Emeroy here. Decided to make this video to close out the year. Figured it's something I've been doing every single year, and I figured why stop tradition. Anyways, today I want to give you guys 3 simple questions that I've used to really reflect on 2016, so that way you're not carrying the baggage of this year onto the next year. What you want to do is take the lessons and the victories to really propel you forward, because I've been seeing this since 2013 14. That's the thing with social media. You see a lot of people complain about their year, but the fact that you're alive, and if you're watching this in America, you have it pretty good. You're actually a part of the top 1% of the rest of the world. What's the alternative? And I'm not saying that going through some shit is bad, that you have to ignore your feelings or whatever. You gotta experience what you experience, go through the process. But if you live in it and stay in there, you let that dictate your experience of life through your day, week, or year. That's really detrimental in you becoming who you know you can be. And I know those of you who are watching this know there's that possibility of who you want to become. There's just these conversations that kind of hold us back, whether it's from our past or from our recent experiences. So these 3 questions are really meant to give you perspective and focus. And I get some people had a rough year, and I empathize, I hear you, I see you, and but that doesn't mean there's still a couple of days left in the new year. That doesn't mean you can't find a way to end it off strong. I don't think you should wait until the calendar flips to make things better for yourself. Even if it's an inch better, a centimeter better, progress is progress no matter what. It's better than sitting on the couch bitching and complaining and yet doing nothing about it. I think we should all resolve to somehow improve every single day, to create the results that you want, and that all comes back down to self-awareness and perspective. So before I get into the nitty-gritty, I want to give a huge shout out to Marie Forleo. It's been a minute since I actually watched any of her stuff, but when I watched it, it's always really, really valuable. I just really haven't had the time to watch a whole lot of people. I've just been busy, working, dancing, and family. So that's my trifecta right now. So just giving props where props is due. The first question is, what are some of your biggest victories of 2016? I know some of you guys may have had a lot of rough patches along the way, but if you really 12 months is a lot of time. That's 365 days, 24 hours. I'm pretty sure you can find at least 5 to 10 good things that did happen to you. Okay, and this is all stemming down from gratitude. I'm a huge believer in energy flows where focus goes. So that means if you're focusing on all the tough shit that's happened, like I said, it's okay to acknowledge it, and it's okay to go through a process of it. But again, if you live there, then that's all you're gonna see. And likewise on the reversal. Okay, if you only focus on the good, you might not be able to see the feedback that you need. But that's why it's important to have both. You see the bad, you use that as feedback to propel you towards the direction that you want. At the same time, you take a look at the good, because it really grounds you and centers you, because things really aren't that bad. You're human. The chances of you existing at this very moment are 1 to 10 and 2,600,000. That's a 10 and 2 million more zeros. So the chances of you living right now are practically non-existent. So you have a shitty day, the fact that you're alive to see today versus many others who are dying to have it, that's a pretty good day. And I'll share with you guys my answers to these 3 questions after I share with you the questions. That sounded redundant. Anyways, question number 2, what are some of your biggest lessons? This is stemming from some of the mistakes or the setbacks that we've had, and instead of brushing off aside like they didn't exist, some of us thrive on feedback, because feedback is what gives us the direction we need to go. I believe that every experience that you have, there's a lesson to be learned from. Talking to a child, your interaction with your mom, arguments with your friend or family member or loved one, okay? Or even, not hitting that personal health goal, not hitting that financial goal. The beauty of goals is that it gives you, motivation and drive to get you started on achieving something. And then there's consistency. It's showing up every single day to try to make it happen. But at the same time, success doesn't always come just because you say it's going to happen. Success comes when you are ready. So that means you may mentally think that you're ready. This weird crazy hand thing. But the universe, I believe the universe, God, whatever you believe in, they'll be the determining factor, because you might say you're ready when you're really not. And life will be the actual determining factor if you're ready for that success. That's why being consistent and showing up every single day and putting in the work will benefit you, because when the opportunity comes, you'll be ready for it. It's almost like me getting ready for a competition or a performance or a battle. Okay, if I don't make the time to, put in the work, then I'm gonna have a crappy performance, versus, I put in the time every single day, or not every other day, okay, to practice my craft, work on it, hone on it, so that when it comes time to perform, I'm ready. And the difference is that where I have a calendar ready for performances, success doesn't exactly have that. It comes when at its own random time. It is just that one random moment where everything changes, and you just got to be ready for it. The last question is, what's the one thing that you want to focus on, that you want to achieve for 2017? And this is something that I am aiming to implement more and more, is just focusing on one thing at a time, because we all have like a million things that we want to achieve. And that's where a lot of us fall short, because we're only human. It comes back to the lesson of, being niche, something that I learned and I very much resisted in my own journey, but finding your niche, so that way you can, excel. It comes back to knowing what you're good at and what you love. That way you can really triple down on it, because, there's things that you might love, but you suck, and there's things that you might be good at, but hate. It's really finding that mix that will really help you flourish. Now, the question you might be asking is like, why one? Because, once we have that one clear focus and what we need to get done, then everything else just becomes a distraction or a luxury. Okay, so I recently got an opportunity to go back into the animation industry from a mentor of mine to do some rigging. So if you don't know what rigging is, here's a little thing real quick. You can watch my old demo if you want to, but I knew the financial opportunity would be huge, but it's not really aligned with the one thing that I want to get, is really make sure that Vision Paradox, my social media company, excels in 2017. And we've made huge leaps and bounds compared to when we started back in, I think, May or April. Going from a solo thing into a partnership deal, and then going to a very small team. We've grown, in my perspective in this is, we're growing at a fast yet I think steady pace, because I'm being very cautious in who I bring on board. At the same time, I understand that in order for this to be successful, I cannot do this alone. So as great as that opportunity may have seemed, it was just a distraction from my perspective, according to the bigger picture of what I want to get. So, because if you focus on that one thing, it just gives you direction and where you need to go. I strongly recommend you guys read The One Thing if you guys have time. Or even add that to your reading list for your New Year's if you want. Because, my favorite question that I've gotten from that is, what's the one thing that I can do right now, so much so by doing it, it'll make everything else easier. So, it goes back to big picture, like what's the one thing that would make everything else easier? Then what's the next thing for that? Next thing for that? It creates really a really huge domino effect in, being productive, because, it's enticing to try to do everything all at once. But that's just a trap for just not getting shit done. So, and if you really want to get things done laterally instead of linearly, I suggest you get a team of people who are going to help you out. Either, enroll your friend into, helping you out on some side projects, pay some kid, some teenager, or even go on Upwork and hire someone, because we're only human. We can't do everything all at once, and that's just the fact. All right, so those are the three questions that I think will give you some perspective in 2016, really closing it up so it can really propel you into 2017. So for me, some of the personal answers, you don't have to watch this part, but you can if you want. First, some of the biggest victories, I have a lot, I think, this year is, Vision Paradox being one of them. Starting my own social media company was something that I resisted to for a long time. But after getting the opportunity to do it for Antics and helping them sell out a show, I just knew it was time. And seeing it grow from just me to 6 other people is pretty awesome. And then next one is being able to travel around the U.S. and tour. So 2 things at once, travel with my family across the U.S. and tour. So that kind of knocks it out, because I've always wanted to tour as a dancer, but the idea of being a backup dancer, just never really enticed me. I don't want to be in the back. I want to be in the front. I want to freestyle. I want to do my thing. So others may feel differently, but I'm glad we got to do that. really successful Christmas. We got to do a lot more things that we did previously. It's like all these trips, obviously, but get a nice venue for Jordan's birthday, buy a boatload of gifts for everyone for Christmas. I just feel like it was an insanely successful year. And the fourth one is, rejoin family business for 1 or 2 more seasons, to join my friend Mark, for one last rodeo before he retires from competing, and being able to see Stephanie dance again. That's awesome. I just know she's insanely passionate about dancing, and seeing her with that excitement is just awesome. Okay, the second question, biggest lesson, I think one that's ringing true for me at this very moment is that there's nothing wrong going back to relearn the lesson. I find this true because if you guys haven't watched any of my vlogs, I brought up that I do have anger management issues, which is why I go to anger management, and helps me out a lot. Honestly, it does. Gives me tools, gives me it's very therapeutic. But there's also that resistance, like feeling like you're taking a step backwards. And I think that life will continue to hand you different lessons of the thing you struggle with the most until you really get it down. So if that means you need to take a step back in order for you to get it or master it, okay, then it's what needs to happen. Resisting it is only going to make it worse. So, it's almost like, you learn these tools to make your life better, but there's nothing wrong to going back and sharpening the tools, and so you can continue doing what you need to do. Sometimes, you get better tools, sometimes you replace it, sometimes you find tools that just don't work for you anymore. So, and this is true not just for not just for my anger management, but for everything. Okay, in business, in family, I've had to reinvent my approach in loving Stephanie like 2 or 3 times this year, because we're human. There's no way things are gonna be in homeostasis and stay the same. If it was, then life would just be easy. But the fact is, we're all human. We change, we grow, we evolve, and we either adapt or we die or get left behind. Okay. The third question, the one thing that I want to do, that I really want to achieve for 2017, really haven't thought about this question, but ringing true for me right now, is in the realm of possibility. Okay, get at least 10 Vision Paradox clients paying us $1,000 to $5,000 a month. Okay, that would be the one thing, that would be the umbrella, the domino that sets everything off. And if there's other goals that fall under the hierarchy or within that line, but if that particular goal, in terms of the 80-20, if I hit that goal, everything else just becomes easy. So that's what I mean with that question. Read the book, The One Thing. So that's it. I gotta go into Kaiju Kempo class in like 5 minutes. I'm only wearing slippers right now. Thanks for watching Emeroy TV. Thank you, all of you guys, 4,000 subscribers. I appreciate all of you guys watching the show, watching all my dance tutorials, all the fitness tutorials, all my personal development stuff, all my vlogs. Okay, I appreciate all of your comments, your feedback, your everything. The fact that you guys are just watching this right now, your attention. Okay, so here's to an amazing 2017. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.